wishing you all a happy Women's Day. Today, I have a very, very special guest. Apparently, our parents were friends before we were both born. And so our association goes back a long way before her husband and I became colleagues. I want to welcome, it's my really proud privilege to welcome Nagsri Prasad Sashidhar to the WiP platform. Welcome, Nagsri.
Hey, hi, Mandeep. Lovely to be here, and thank you very much for, kind of allowing me to share my thoughts with the rest of the gorgeous women who are part of your platform as well.
Thank you. You're most welcome. So I wanted to catch a journey, and you're the first from the travel and tourism industry who has come on our platform. We do have a lot of entrepreneurs. We have, women from IT, banking, a lot of other fields, and a lot of authors and fitness freaks and meditation and everything I was mentioning to you about. So this is the first. So I'm very excited. And I wanted to tell everyone that Nagsri has a postgraduate with distinction in actually biochemistry and microbiology. How did you venture into travel and tourism?
That's quite by chance, actually, because, I keep telling people that from getting into a micro kind of an environment, so, instead of looking under the microscope, I've started looking at things macroscopically now. It has been very exciting, actually, and quite by chance, because I was all set to do my PhD in oncology in the US, and then marriage happened. And my husband was, kind of doing quite well in the bank back home in India, and didn't really feel very right to, kind of just up and leave and, just kind of move. So the next best thing that I was, looking at wanting to do was something with people, because I think that's what I'm best at. So I said, I think that's another thing that I can really kind of look at doing. And that's when actually a friend of ours just stopped by home and we were having dinner. And she was actually a trainer with Thomas Cook many moons ago. And she said that, you know what, Nagsri, if advertising is one thing I was toying with, and the second was actually something to do with travel and tourism. And because I loved to travel, and I still do. So it just kind of was quite a natural. And, when she said that, why don't you, kind of give it a shot? And I said, why not? And that's how, Thomas Cook really happened. And then there was no looking back. And this was like way back 28 years ago and counting.
So I love the fact that, your entire journey about growing in Thomas Cook, heading the department on the tourism part of it, and luxury tourism has been your forte in India. If anybody talks about them, you are the person they talk about, because not only Thomas Cook, later on you moved over to Mercury Travels and also headed the departments there. I am going to take your permission and actually put your company profile, because in 2019 you set up Nagsri, creating special memories. I mean, I love the fact that from spa vacation, eco tours, luxury train trips, cruise from outbound to in-houses, so much within the country that you're talking about that you end up doing for your people. I mean, I'm sorry I have to ask you this, but I know you manage the really ultra rich or luxurious thing. Is it also open for, people like all women we are wanting to travel together and things like that? Is it affordable?
Well, actually, Mandeep, when you talk about luxury, in my mind, I think that's quite a misconception. Because when you talk luxury, it's not necessarily, kind of catering to the uber rich or the ultra HNIs. I think for me, travel is therapeutic, and everybody has the right to travel, of course.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about luxury, now for a lot of people, it's something as basic as, not wearing your shoes when you travel.
Yes.
Some people, it's just the luxury of having time to spend for yourself.
Yes.
So the connotation of luxury is very varied with different people. Yeah. So what I am trying to do here is to cater to people who are willing to submit themselves to what I have to offer in terms of experiences. So for me, it could be, staying in a small boutique property somewhere, in Provence, in France, in a vineyard, or it could be somewhere up in the hills, in Missouri or Nainital. It could be something as close to home, or it could be something as farther out in Mongolia. So it just kind of, so when people tell me what do I really do, which are the countries I really cover, I would say everything from the Arctic to the Antarctic and everything in between. So it's essentially the globe, because every country has something special to really offer. So when you talk about luxury travel, for me, the connotation of luxury is to be able to cater to people who are willing to take that extra step, who are willing to be, kind of transform themselves into travelers and not tourists. where they're just going to tick off a monument, but they want to immerse themselves in the culture. It's about the culinary journey. It's
Absolutely.
about the food of the area. It's
Absolutely.
about where they stay. So I think all of that. Now, staying in a five-star hotel anywhere in the world is cookie cutter. But for
Yes.
me, what's important is when people, kind of come up to me with a gleam in their eye, telling me, Lakshmi, we are willing to experiment,
Yes.
staying probably in a small boutique property, which is steeped in a story,
Yeah.
and it's got a soul, and it's got something which is different to offer.
Sure.
Now that excites me. They don't want to just go to a place and see things, but they want to live like a local. And
Yes.
that is becoming very important. And like you say, catering to women travelers, catering to just about, I've had clients who celebrated their retirement, for example.
Yeah.
So it's a lovely, cute couple who went off celebrating their retirement. And they went to Rwanda on a gorilla trekking, kind of a holiday,
Oh,
which I
wow.
thought was amazing. People are willing to try out new things. People are willing to experiment. And I think that is what is, kind of giving me that kick when I really kind of plan itineraries, holidays for people across the globe, actually.
Countries and 2000 cities. Seriously. I know that you attend all these travel, tourism, conferences, seminar. You're yourself a speaker in so many of them. I see the awards that you have got. But 2000 cities, and I was trying to last night, I'll be very honest, go through your Facebook and see some of the places that I didn't know there was this mountain range in somewhere in the UAE related things that you've been. I saw your pictures in Cuba. I mean, those are the very enviable first few that came to my thing. And I loved the fact that what you rightfully say in your company profile, the unexplored destination and exhilarating experiences in some of these places. So I think although you may be getting awards for the honeymoon and all other romantic bit, which some people would be also interested in, but middle-aged people like us are totally falling for these new experiences. This really
Absolutely.
sounds very, very nice. So when these people invite you, they're trying to open up what kind of a thing their countries have to offer?
Well, actually, Mandeep, what's happening right now, I think India per se is in a very enviable spot. Yeah,
Okay.
in that sense, it's a very bullish market for us right now because Indians, one, are traveling across crazily. Yeah, given our sheer population that we have and the disposable income that is only growing, people are really kind of catching that flight. So, and it is so tangible because when you get to any airport, whether you're talking international or domestic, you won't get a seat. So it just kind of translates into how many people out of India are traveling. And they're traveling somewhere. So which means that every country which has their own, kind of stipulations in terms of numbers that they need to really get in, are looking at India as a very major market for them because Indians, the moment they leave the country, are in fact actually kind of certified as the highest spenders in that foreign land. Whether
Absolutely.
it be it shopping, be it eating, be it the lifestyle, be it anything. So
Yeah.
which means that everybody wants, obviously, that Indian is now very, very desirable. So when we actually kind of travel across, or we are invited by the tourism boards or the governments in these countries, it's all about showcasing what the country has to offer, which then we come back and we kind of marry the right experience to the right client, because I think that is very important. Obviously, if a client is with me and says, Nagsri, I just don't like the sea. I love the mountains. So it would be stupid on my part to then try and, kind of marry the sea experience with somebody who doesn't like that. So therefore, it's very imperative for us to really see what the country has to offer. And every country, believe me, has a zillion things that, can be up for grabs. So very important for us as seasoned travel curators to pick out those experiences and then make sure that when you travel, you just get the best, because the globe is, I mean, the world is huge. And it's very unlikely that you would keep going back to the same place over and over and over again. So we just want to make sure that when you travel once to that place, you just get the best experience. And that is what we are really kind of showcased, so that we come back and translate that into an experience for you.
Actually, when a person comes to you, I mean, take me through the thing that somebody approaches it, because in the day and age of a lot of .coms, and you have a booking.com and a TripAdvisors or whatever in India and overseas, a lot of people are working on their own things, saying we'll go there and we'll look for attractions there and Googling on their own. But they come to somebody like you who curates travel. What should they expect? How does the process work?
So, Mandeep, the thing is, obviously, we are moving with the times. Now, there is something which all of us know, the dot-coms are kind of booming. Now, that is here to stay. So, and I keep telling the youngsters who get into the industry that do not ever get intimidated by the dot-coms, because the market is huge. So you need to be very clear about the segment that you choose.
Okay.
Yeah. So the moment I choose a segment, and for me, the chosen segment that I have, kind of volunteered to take on is the segment which needs that kind of immersion, which needs that kind of handholding, and which needs that kind of seamless experiences. Yeah, when they're on a holiday. So the kind of clients who then come to me, or rather I choose to service, are clients who would tick all these three boxes.
Okay.
So when they come to me, first, they either are not really very sure about where they want to travel. So we help them, just kind of maneuver them through the different options available for them. Now, when we talk about that, and let me just quickly, just kind of give you one example. Now, there was a client who came to me and she wanted to go on a shopping trip. Yeah. Now, they were spending around 15 days in London. And from London, they had 4 days, which they could take off. And they said that let's hop across to Germany to shop and come back. We love such clients. So we said, great. So then she came back to me saying, Nagsri, you know what? I was looking at doing a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then come back. So automatically, it was very easy for her. I mean, it was a no-brainer because there was no real experience that I was giving her apart from telling her where to go to shop, giving her those VIP experiences in those shopping malls, which we've tied up with, because these are the largest outlet malls across the globe. And we've got a VIP that we do for our clients. Now, apart from that, there was just a hotel involved in this whole thing. So, but she did not know that Sundays, and in fact, Sundays are the only days where the whole of Germany is shut when it comes to shopping. So none of the malls, none of the shops are open on a Sunday. Yeah. Now, if she were to actually kind of book and go across, her one full day was a waste because she was going particularly to shop. And that whole Sunday, there was nothing for her to do. So she was so thankful that she said, actually, if I hadn't come to you, I wouldn't have even known that, this day would have been a waste. So I think, Mandeep, so therefore, coming back to what I was saying, is that it's very important when people come to us that what we do for them is to, one, give them options of where they can travel to.
Yes.
Two is what they can do in those places, which are, like I said, each of my client who comes to me is not a tourist. So he's a traveler, he's an explorer. So I would then give them things that they could do, which is beyond what they probably would have read on a Lonely Planet or a Rough Guide or on Google or on ChatGPT, which is now the big buzzword. So these are practical informations that we give our clients, because I have been to most of these places, if not all. And even if one has not humanly been able to cover every country and every city, we still know in our 28 years, we know what is right and what the client would really love to do. Thirdly, we're like an invisible, kind of a person who's following these people on their trip. So you would keep getting, kind of probably WhatsApps or whatever from me, just to make sure that the trip is going on track. So the person also feels, kind of secure that there is somebody who's invisibly following her or him on their holiday. And if something were to change or they wanted something changed, it could be done there and then. And they don't have to come back and then write a letter saying that, listen, this could have been done differently. So corrective measures, if at all, I mean, that's very far in, there's hardly any corrective measures that we really take. I'm very proud to say that. But if there were any, that could have been corrected right there and then. Yeah. So that is the other thing. And lastly, we also kind of operate like a concierge, where in case they want to go to a particular restaurant and eat there, which is difficult to get, we would then jump in and try and get a booking for them, a table for them on that particular date and time. So in short, I would say that we are more like a concierge. We are more like invisible people who are traveling with you on your holiday. Of course, giving you the space, and it's obviously with your consensus. So we either are with you the whole time, or in between, maybe once in 2 days, we will message you.
Airlines, the visas, all of
and
those
everything. So the airlines, the visa, so it's from the time you leave home until the time you come back. So it's the entire gamut. And when you talk about the entire gamut, of course, you're talking about the airlines, you're talking about visa assistance, you're talking about hotels, you're talking about the immersion, the sightseeing experiences, you're talking about restaurants and culinary, and of course, you're talking about their transfers finally when they come back home. The other buzzword that people talk about apart from the .coms is Airbnb. Now, to that, what I really counter is you've got to be either lucky if you do end up getting an Airbnb as per your requirement. Because a lot of times what happens is that we in the travel fraternity, because we keep exchanging, notes with what our clients have gone through as well. And a lot of them have equal number have gone through horrendous experiences.
Oh,
So you're
yeah.
either lucky with your Airbnb or you're not. Because
Yes.
with the Airbnb, your SOPs are not in place. You
Totally.
don't know who the owner is. So it's like a blind date. And then if you get lucky, you are. So that is something I really kind of steer away from, because Airbnb, invariably people try and say that you're going to save a couple of bucks, but sometimes it shouldn't be that it's a very costly mistake.
Backed by big names like Mercury and now on your own, what have your learnings been in setting up your own ventures, and any setbacks that you thought that when you were doing it on your own, this is something that I'll have to, I'm sure you've overcome all that, but would you like to share with our members at how challenging it is to set up your own venture?
Well, to that, Mandeep, ironically, it was actually easy peasy. Yeah, it was quite a breeze. And the reason why is because of two things. One is, well, I keep telling people that I am what I am because of the grounding that we had in these huge companies like Thomas Cook and a Mercury Travels, which was so professional. And invariably people end up asking me that, what, Nagsri, you should have started this 10 years ago, maybe. Why did you start so late? Now, the answer to that is that there's always the right time. And when you start something, I think that is the right time. So if I were to start 10 years ago, maybe I would have been 10 years short of that experience I would have learned in Mercury and Thomas Cook. Invariably, also people keep saying that, leaving a huge company like, which is so well known, and you start off on your own and you're a nobody, how would you really kind of get your clients? Now, to that, what I have to share is that when we are talking about something as specific as what I do in my line, I think it's very important, one, to have the confidence that you're doing something that you're believing in.
That's
right? And the moment you have that belief in yourself, it becomes very easy, because for me, what was very clear is I am not into trying to be, everything to everybody.
Yes.
So I needed to choose the clients. Like I said, the clients that I'm choosing to operate and deal with are people who are very specific in their requirements as well, and who enjoy and appreciate what I bring to the table. So starting with fewer numbers, I was very happy, which is why I said, what is the most important thing for me? I think what was very important for me was to be happy. Yeah, because I think happiness to me, if I am happy, I know that my clients can be happy.
Yes. Yes.
So which is why, automatically when the time came for me to really kind of coronate myself in the company and say, what am I going to call myself? I said, I don't want to call myself some boring vice president or,
Yes, I like that.
I mean, I just found that very boring, honestly. So I said, what am I in the business of? I'm in the business of creating and, kind of translating dreams into a reality for people. And what does that give people? It gives people happiness. So I am going to coronate myself the Chief Happiness Officer. Not many people have this designation, which I think is a very fun designation.
Yes.
And it just kind of is very synonymous with the business I'm in as well. So the second question was, what do I, christen my company? So do I call it a tours and travel or a tourism related, kind of company? And again, I thought that was quite, boring, because, and then when I was brainstorming with a couple of friends, they said, actually, you yourself are the brand.
Brand,
So
yes.
I call yourself, because who owns Nagsri? Well, it's Nagsri. And what is Nagsri's company? It's Nagsri. So Nagsri creating special memories was finally what the company was called.
Yeah.
And I think all of my, growing very organically.
Yeah.
In this day and age, again, people are like, can you give us your website? Can we look at that? Well, I don't have a website. And this is on purpose, because for me, a website, again, what am I doing? I'm curating things. So something which fits me will not fit you. So it's got to be 100% curated, which is why a website doesn't work for me at all. I need to talk to my clients. I need to, engage with them. I need to understand what they want. I need to get into their, into their mind to see what they like. Because I keep telling people that, again, the eyes will not see what the mind does not know. So I need to basically open the mind so that the eye can see something which is as basic and as, below them. And they still don't know it because the mind is not really aware of something like this exists. So I need to open the mind of people. I need to kind of work on that. And then that only happens through, talking with people or meeting people, and does not happen through a website for me. So I have steered away from that, though, of course, I do have my Facebook and Insta handles, which, because I write a lot. So therefore my Facebook is a way of release. And also, people have come back saying they've loved reading what they've read. So that works for me, but not a website. So I'm very happy, with the kind of client base that is increasing. It's all 100% word of mouth, which I think is the strongest tool right now, and very happy with that.
Percentage of your clientele in terms of women, older people, youngsters, what do you see most people? I know everybody's traveling, you answered a whole lot of things, but what kind of, when you look at the kind of client base you have, where do you see most people coming from?
Well, actually, Mandeep, it's a tough one, because I think it's a mixed bag, and it's a healthy mixed bag, because right now I've just had 3 honeymoon couples who have traveled off to Kenya on a safari. Now that again is a new, because normally people want to get up late, but here they're up and about at 5 in the morning. They're on a safari drive, so that is changing. So a lot of honeymoon couples, especially during the months of the winter, which is the marriage season. So that time I have a lot of honeymooners traveling. During the year, I would say a lot of people between 30s to the 60s. So it's like I said, you don't really have to be a certain age to experience what I have to really offer. Your mind needs to accept what I have to offer. You should be in a position to tell me, naturally, I am willing to take on something which is bizarre things. You've got bungee jumping happening on their 50th birthday, on their 60th birthdays. So it's all about the mindset more than the age group, is what I think in what I do, really.
Actually, you're definitely
everybody is welcome.
Doing one for the women for WiP, that I can always tell you, because we would have been lost where to start. So that's something that we're
Awesome. Awesome. Can't wait.
Ask you now this question. I know we all women get asked about it, but you also are playing a spouse of a very, very good banker, and you are a power couple. So with all the social engagements, I mean, you have traveled so much on your agenda. How do you manage that bit? Because your social engagements would have increased with his enhanced responsibilities. So how do you manage that?
Well, I think, Mandeep, God has been honestly kind. I have been traveling, and the good thing about this day and age is you don't have to be at your desk to be able to handle, kind of itineraries. Clients have, again, you're talking about evolved clients who've come to me, and they are willing, if it's not something which is very, very urgent, everybody's willing to wait. So, there's a great balance between, remotely working in terms of getting, because everybody's on email and WhatsApps. So work honestly does not stop, wherever you may be. And nowadays, even on the airlines, you have your Wi-Fi happening. So you're always in touch with clients. It's never really a moment. And I think it's been pretty seamless in that sense, where, people have, we've actually kind of firmed up holidays and bookings, and people have, in fact, actually traveled out, even whilst I was traveling as well. So it's been very serious in that sense. And I think so far, like I said, because I'm not taking on a tsunami of bookings coming my way, very, very pointed in the kind of and focused in the kind of clients I'm handling. I think because at the end of the day, I'm here to do a thorough job. I need 100% customer delight at the end of the day. So if I know, and if I feel somewhere that I will not be able to handle something because of XYZ reason, well, I would be very upfront and tell the client that, listen, I think it's it's not going to happen unless you can wait, and then I think it's fine. But we've been managing so far so good, and everybody's been very, very happy. So touch wood on that one.
Tell me, what's your success mantra, Nagsri?
Oh, the success mantra, Mandeep, I think a couple of them. So I wouldn't really say there's one or two, but let me just give you the 2 top ones which come to mind. I think one which is very important is I always tend to follow the 3 B's. Now, the first B for me would be, let it be belief. So what is it that you really just sit down, and what do you believe in? Because you get your beliefs in place, and you're very clear about your belief. You need to then move to the second B, which is your behavior. Because the way you emote, the way you talk, the way you present yourself needs to really resonate what your belief is. Yeah. So believe in something. Let your behavior not be the complete contrary to your belief, because it's got to be dovetailed with it. And finally, the last B, which is your business. Because your belief, your behavior will automatically lead to the business that you really want. Absolutely. Rather than going the other way around. Because if you're going to follow your business, you are somewhere, and if you're not clear about the kind of business that you want to do and get, your belief and your behavior will be completely skewed, because you won't be the person you are. Absolutely. And the moment you're not that person, it's not going to really work. You're not going to give it your 500%. So the 3 B's, very important. And the second success mantra, if you could call it that, is that, again, I very strongly believe that people need to collaborate and not compete. because you do something, you cannot be something for everybody.
Yes.
So if there is an example here is that I know that my expertise is in putting holiday, experiences together. My expertise is not with ticketing as much and with visas. That is something which is very transactional.
Sure.
And you don't need expertise in that.
Yes.
So therefore, what I do is I would then collaborate with a very dear friend who is very good with ticketing and with another person who's very good with visas.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, the client needs to get the complete package with me. But back end, there is collaboration happening rather than competing, saying that, listen, I'm going to do this, this, and this, which I know that I won't be able to give them the best. So at the end of the day, the client is coming to me. The client has put in that much of, kind of reassurance with me, is trusting me, and I can't let him down or let her down at all. So these two are the main two things that I would really kind of.
Any advice for women?
I think women are just everywhere now. I don't think any advice is required because the men need the advice more than the women now. So I don't think it'll be right for me to give any advice, but I just want to say that, we are a growing tribe. We love doing what we're doing, continue doing what we're doing, travel more, more empowerment, more power to us. And I think we're on the right track anyways. So I think very soon men will need the advice and not us. So no advice to them at all.
Well said. Well said. Thank you, Nagsri. And I think you brought in so much perspective from the travel and tourism industry. And you are really a brand. And I love the logo that you have created of Nagsri. Creating special is what it's all about. And we should keep hearing. You're joining the tribe to at least see what other women are doing.
Absolutely.
See that. Thank you so much. Today is a very special day, an International Women's Day, and we see, as you rightly said, so much happening with women, and we're very proud about our tribe and specifically our community as well. So thank you so much for being here, and I really appreciate you making the time.
Thanks, Manvi. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.